In 1989, I took tryptophan for a 5-month period, and later came to find out that the tryptophan was essentially poison, and it was on the same level as a nerve gas poisoning or a pesticide poisoning. So there was a period of acute illness where a lot of people died instantly after they took the tryptophan. The people who didn't die usually got serious cases of and varying degrees of illness called EMS. The EMS works by causing a high eosinophilia rate, which is a type of white blood cell that responds to things that people are allergic to ordinarily. In this case, the poison was so toxic that people had astronomical levels of eosinophilia. And what that did was create these white blood cells which would attack the poison, and then the eosinophils would explode themselves and create more toxins, so you actually got a double dose of toxin. So when the investigation started, right in the very beginning, there was some evidence that came out at the time in documentation and other places that they had changed their manufacturing process. And they had done two things. The first thing was to genetically engineer the product, and the second thing was they changed their filtration process. And that was a cosmetic thing, where they wanted the tryptophan to look whiter or cosmetically more appealing. So the information came out initially, but then shortly thereafter, when they realized that they were in trouble and a lot of people in the United States were dying from it or getting seriously ill, the information disappeared, and it was believed at the time that it was burned in a fire, or that's what the story has always been.
When scientists insert a gene from one species into another species' DNA, they need to artificially turn on that inserted gene. They use a promoter, something that turns the gene on 24/7 around the clock in high volume. They assume that the promoter that was used in almost all genetically modified foods would only turn on the gene to which it was attached. However, research has shown that this promoter can turn on other genes at random and keep them on permanently 24/7 around the clock. Which means that these genes could be creating allergies or toxins or carcinogens or anti-nutrients or something good. We don't know. It was found that after a single transgenic meal, this promoter was found intact inside rat tissue 3 days later. So it had transferred from food to internal organs. If this happens inside of us, it's possible that this promoter could turn on genes at random in our own DNA and pump out allergens or toxins or carcinogens or anti-nutrients. It's also possible that it could promote excessive cell growth, which may lead to cancer. Another possibility is that this promoter can switch on dormant viruses which have been embedded in our DNA for thousands of years. It's also true that this promoter has a recombinant hotspot. It means that it could potentially create genetic instability and recombination. So if we eat genetically engineered foods, it's theoretically possible that the promoter transfers to our DNA and causes DNA mutation. And these are just some of the scores of potential problems that can occur from genetic modification. The most common result of genetic modification is surprise side effects. We don't fully understand the science, and we're acting as if we do.